Christy, I might ask you first, just to have a few comments on why we wanted Nards back and what you're excited to see from her coming into this season.
Thanks, Grace. Nards, officially welcome back. Could not be more excited. What I want more of is those half court shots. If we could have about four of those, please, this season, that'll get our attendance numbers
Oh
through the
God.
roof. No, look, seriously, I've worked with Nards in my previous role and obviously at the Caps last season. And on top of being obviously an exceptional athlete on the court, she's just a terrific person off the court. And that's just exemplified in the work she does for us with our community, camps and clinics, with our sponsors and partners, with all of the fans who absolutely love her. She really embodies what it is to be a Cap, and she represents the Caps brand and jersey with such pride. And it makes me really proud to see her do that. And I just think she's just such a great person, and I genuinely could not be more thrilled. And I know I speak for Coach Goris when I say, her ceiling is enormous in terms of what she can, how she can develop and what she's able to deliver for us on the court. So, gosh, can't wait to see her back in Caps colours next season.
And a 2-year deal as well. What does that kind of speak for kind of the vision for where the Caps are going in the next few years?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, obviously, we have such faith and confidence in Nards. And like I said, her ceiling is so high. So, Nards had a great first season with the Caps and then also last season, but particularly in the back half of last season, her stats were absolutely through the roof. And so, if that's an indication of how she's going to develop over the next couple of years, and obviously now I know you'll talk to her about it, but she's going to head off to America now that WNBA CBA is done. It's very exciting. And obviously, building a roster with Nards at the core of that was kind of part of our thinking. So we're just super excited and thrilled that she's opted to, join us for another 2 seasons, which is just phenomenal.
So, now going over to you, Nards, what kind of went into, what do you love about being in Canberra and what has continually got you to keep coming back?
I think I kind of like everything. I think moving back from the last season, I enjoyed it and I loved being there. And then I think this season just topped it off as well. And obviously coming from Melbourne, it's a lot easier to get to places. I don't have to be in the car all day, which is nice. But I just love it. I love how nice it is and the community and like everything about it. And the club have like made it a home for me. So, I love the staff, the high performance, loved working with Christy and obviously Goz. So, the pieces I put together, I really had been enjoying it every season. But it was definitely a no-brainer for me to come back and I've had one of the best or happiest seasons the last couple of seasons being at the Cavs. So, I think when I'm at that, I thrive and I'm at my best. And obviously, I want to develop and get better. And I think this club is definitely where I can do that. And, everyone's putting in that effort for me to get better. And it only makes me want to get better. So, I honestly love everything about Canberra. And I'm really excited to come back.
We're so excited to have you back. As we said, Goz is also in for 2 years. How has he kind of worked on your game the last few years, and where do you think it can go even further in the next two?
Hopefully it just keeps progressing. I know every time I stepped on the court the last couple of games in the last season, God's just given me a lot of confidence and let me kind of play and help me figure out places or bits in my game where I need to work on and get better at. And he coaches me really hard, which is something I really need, and he does really invest in me. And I think every player needs a coach like that, that has that confidence in them. And places where I was lacking in myself, he's kind of helped me. And I'm like, wow, like I need to be like this and I need to be better and stuff. But, he's been helping me throughout the last season and this season, and hopefully he can continue with the next 2 seasons. And, hopefully getting a championship. I know we've been really close the last couple of years and to get into the top four, but, hopefully we, just get that top four and then go into the championship, which I know we can do. So, yeah.
Does that fifth place finish 2 years in a row make you really hungry for another shot at it? That helps keep you coming back.
Oh, yes, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And obviously, the last game of the season we had it was unreal. Like the crowd was insane, and you don't have to show up for us, not knowing, like knowing we didn't have, like we weren't going into a championship game, we weren't going into top four, but they still came, and that was one of the great things about being in Canberra. The fans are like incredible. Like they're always behind us. They're always there no matter what happens, win or losses. They're always behind our back, and it makes us, want to keep playing, and it makes it really fun. So, you cannot go wrong playing at the AIS Arena.
Yeah, we've got the notifications coming through now that everyone's found out the news that you're coming back. So lots of people excited. Um, and now just looking before you come back to us in WNBL, obviously you got drafted to Atlanta in 2024 and now you're looking to head over to the States. Kind of what's going through your mind now that there is kind of progress with the CBA and it is that little bit closer to going over to WNBA?
Yeah, it's really exciting. I mean, 2, 3 days ago, I had no idea what was going on. I was just shooting, running around, trying to get fit, not knowing what was going on. But obviously, yesterday, the CBA has been agreed. So it's exciting. It's really cool. I feel like, when I go to take off and be on the plane for however long it is, I'll be like, yeah, well, this is really happening. But no, I'm really excited. I know, obviously, got drafted a couple of years ago and haven't really gone over to take my foot and to go there. But, I think it's time for me to go over and just kind of see what it is, get that experience, and whatever happens, happens, I guess. But just kind of taking that leap and going forward. I know the back end of the last season, I'm really confident and comfortable with how I've gone and kind of try to progress that into that season. But and keep getting better and develop. I know coaches over there will want to help me get better as well, and that's what I'm really open just to see what it is and get better and develop.
And have you got any advice from other girls that have gone over? Obviously, Jade and Caddy have both played in the WNBA. Any words of wisdom from them so far?
Yeah, Jado, well, maybe not this season, maybe last season. She said it was really different. And definitely is different, and just kind of just to be open to whatever happens, and like what happens here in the WNBA is not going it's not what's going to happen in the WNBA, which is definitely true. But just being open to everything and like learning things and taking in new stuff. And obviously, Caddy was there as well, and she was a good friend of mine, and she is a good friend of mine. And yeah, and she just kind of said it's just different to here, and at the end of the day it's like a business and stuff, and which is at every place. But yeah, I know, being able to talk to them but their experience and stuff has also really helped, and being able to go to Atlanta before the preseason last year has also helped as well. So yeah, looking forward to it.
It should be a good season as well with the expansion draft and yeah, very
Hmm.
competitive league, which is very exciting. Caitlin,
Yeah.
did you have any questions for either Christy or Nat?
Yeah, Nads, I guess, congratulations. I guess like getting over to Atlanta last year, it was just a brief taste, but did that give you a little bit of an insight, make you feel a bit more comfortable about taking that leap?
Oh yes, 100%. I know when I got over there, like flying there was one, and then like kind of traveling around was two, and being able just to be around the team and the staff members and watch their trainings and see how they prep for games and like the way they lift, and where they eat and stuff. So it definitely has made me feel more comfortable. I guess if I go into training camp, I'm a bit more familiar about things instead of going in there for the first time ever. But no, it definitely has helped me, getting to meet the coaches, I guess, and everyone there is it's definitely easy. So I think hopefully going over there, and it's not going to be the first time again. So I guess that definitely has helped.
And what about like, I guess you touched on it before, but like the decision to kind of wait a little bit, like how much has the WNBL helped kind of prepare you a little bit more just to get used to playing against women, some bigger bodies, some more experienced heads,
Mhm.
like just to kind of be ready for whatever's coming your way?
Yeah, it definitely has. I mean, it's our professional league over here, and obviously in America they're professionals in the NBA, and I guess college athletes go straight into that to playing into the pros, where I've kind of graduated from high school and went straight into playing pros. So that definitely has helped me in playing against like older people and different comps and people at skill levels and stuff, which is has definitely helped. And I don't even know how many seasons I'm in here now, but I feel like I've been playing WNBA for a long time, and just being able to be comfortable in this pro league, so then I know when I go to another one, like I'm not as timid or as scared. So it definitely has helped like hugely.
And I know like in the past we've laughed and joked with Goz a little bit about, working with Jade to try and recruit players and keep players in. Have you been working with Goz already to try and convince a few of your teammates to stay around?
No, not really. Goz is busy winning with the qualifiers. So no, hopefully he called me and asked. But hopefully we do have a remainder of the girls from last year. We had a really good group, and hopefully we can bring that back. And I know that's going to make it easier to get a championship when you've played with a few people that you have in the last years or whenever it's been. So hopefully a few of the girls come back, which will be nice.
Christy, I guess how hard are you working to make sure you've got a core group there?
Knew that was coming my way. Thanks, Nads. Yeah, obviously, we're obviously well in discussions and contract negotiations at the moment, Caitlin. So free agency for the WNBL is in fact confirmed to open now as well on the 1st of April. So we have until that time to secure any of our existing players before they'll become official free agents. I'm pretty sure we'll have a couple more of these announcements before that period, which should give you a bit of an indication. We would love to keep everybody, but I suppose the reality also of it is that there's a new team coming into the WNBL next year in Tasmania. The salary cap goes up next season, so there's a few kind of factors that come into play. Also, sometimes people genuinely want to stay at a club, and sometimes they just want to explore what's out there, or maybe have a different environment to see how they can thrive in a different environment. So all of that comes into play. It's very much a jigsaw puzzle. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's not fun. You lose people that you'd really love to keep, but also sometimes you get to keep some terrific people just like Nard. So watch this space, Caitlin.
Does it feel like you've got a key piece of the puzzle now, knowing the WNBA stuff? Does that help with planning a little bit more, just for players like Nards that are weighing up what to do and where to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I genuinely, I think you'll see it, even with the dates of the WNBA, it's going to overlap in the start of our season. So, even the likes of Nards who've committed to play, there are lots of Aussies that play in the WNBA, and even the imports that come from that league into our league, I feel like we're going to be really impacted moving forward, not only with the date overlap, but particularly with the new salaries over there, which are, new minimum salary of 300,000 US, which is absolutely game changing. Really, it's so fantastic to finally see some real money in women's basketball, and they're getting, kudos to everyone that's worked on that over there, because it is going to change the landscape, not just for basketball, for women's sport. But what that will mean for the WNBL is potentially less high quality imports that want to come over here because they don't need to. They came over here previously because they needed to top up their salaries. They're not going to need to top up salaries anymore. So I think we'll be looking at athletes who may be coming straight out of college into the league, or need to keep developing their games, which we know WNBL is a proven environment for that for them. But then our Aussie players in particular, are they going to want to play back-to-back seasons if, that is the core part of their career over there now, with that really fantastic level of remuneration kind of yet to be seen. So there's lots of kind of considerations with that WNBA CBA now in place that is terrific on so many levels, but I fear may impact us a little bit negatively in the WNBL as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned like the new team coming in as well. It's going to be an interesting couple of years, I guess, just testing the depth and I guess where this league's going, because we saw it kind of take a leap forward this season with the new owners. It's going to be a bit of a juggle. I don't envy you.
Yeah, look, so genuinely, I think from a club perspective, it's probably the biggest thing on our minds at the moment, which is the talent depth across the league, particularly with this CBA now in place in the WNBA. Prior to that, you proactively had our top tier Australians wanting to play, top level import athletes wanting to play. I think that's going to be impacted. So what does that look like? We're having to really think quite strategically, which is, do we look more into the Asian market for those import athletes that are coming in, focusing really very much so on our Australian elite level athletes and, pathways that are coming through. There's a lot of discussion happening around that now, which is how do we increase the quality of athletes coming out of the pathways that are existing to ensure they're ready for the WNBL. And then, Caitlin, you've probably heard as well, so Tassie Jules in this season. The following season, very likely there'll be a 10th team, so that talent depth stretched probably even a little bit more. So lots of discussions happening at league level, certainly at club level, Goz and I in the recruitment space, and trying to kind of strategically piece our team together. But yeah, it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it.